What's going on, you guys? It's Scott from Fly Rides here with a review for an eMTB that I think is going to be extremely popular and continue to solidify Bulls as an excellent electric mountain bike brand. I am talking, of course, about the Bulls Copperhead EVO AM1. The Copperhead bikes came onto the scene a few years ago. They were meant to be a bit heftier in design and initially were made for heavier riders, but this year I think the Copperhead is going to be approachable for riders of all shapes and sizes. It has got an excellent cross-country design, the much sought-after Bosch Smart System, and components that are not going to break the bank. We are going to take this bike out and give you a spec breakdown, so let's get into it. As promised, things are about to get a little specsy. Let's talk about specs, baby.
Let's talk about specs, baby.
Starting off with that Bosch Smart System. First of all, if you have not seen our in-depth review, I would highly recommend going to check that out. But I'll give you a quick breakdown about what is included in the Bosch Smart System. You've got the Bosch Performance CX motor with 85 Newton meters of torque and 250 watts, newly aerodynamically designed for this year. You have also got the Bosch PowerTube 750. This is going to be a massive battery, capable of keeping you riding all day. I'd say pretty easily 40 miles and maybe up to 60 if you're being more conservative with it. Of course, you've got the Bosch LED remote, and Bulls has opted to go without the Kiox 300 display, which eMTB riders have been asking for forever, basically. Most eMTB riders these days are looking for something more low profile so that they can just get out there and enjoy the ride. But you are not without the ability to track miles and speeds because you have that Bosch eBike Flow app. Your drivetrain is going to partner nicely with that Bosch Smart System. It's going to be the Shimano Dior. That's going to offer some snappy shifting and some excellent climbing ability. Your group set is rounded out with Shimano hydraulic disc brakes on a 203mm rotor in the front and a 180mm rotor in the back.
Hey guys, it's Scott coming at you from the editing bay. Even though you are seeing Shimano brakes on this bike, I did get an updated spec sheet from Bulls saying that it will likely be Tektro hydraulic disc brakes on this bike instead of those Shimano brakes. So look out for those when the bike actually releases.
As mentioned, this is more of a cross-country build, and the Suntour suspension that Bulls has you set up with on this bike is excellent for that purpose. It's 150mm of travel in the front with matching travel in the back on a Suntour shock. One more thing to note is that even though this is a displayless bike, you can add the Kiox 300 retroactively if you would like, but Bulls also has you set up with a really nice phone mount so that you can have easy access to that eBike Flow app if you want to use that as a display. Personally, I like the idea of having that phone mount with the eBike Flow app in front of me when I want it, and then I'm able to put it away if I don't feel like I need it at a given moment. Now, I feel like this is a bike designed just for me, honestly, but we of course have to have Austin take this thing out to show you how he would ride this bike. It's also nice to see you will be able to take this on a little bit more aggressive terrain, as Austin is about to show you. Austin, take it away.
Woo! Already feeling this bike. Feels really good. Really well balanced. I'm not really noticing that little bit of extra weight from the 750 Smart System like I thought I would. So, Bulls have done a really great job balancing it in there. Pardon stuttering a bit, trying to concentrate down the trail. Woo! Whoop. Jump to the right. We'll gap up over this. All right. Woo. Oh, I'll get a little slide into the corner there. Here, we'll take this wide, see how well it maneuvers this tight corner with ease. With ease. All righty, here we go. These V tires, the 2.6 mullets, are feeling real good. Woo! Getting a lot of grip. It's really nice on this loose over hard that we have here in SoCal. All righty. Hit the step up. Woo! Oh man, impressed with the way this Suntour suspension feels right now. So one thing I'm really loving about the new Bosch 750 Smart System is the The thumb control, it's really bright, really clear, colorful, and the fact that you can run it without the screen is everything to me. It's minimal, just allows you to focus more on the trail. Let's hit this ridge line right here. Woo! Alrighty. Oh yeah. No problem with grip on these tires. And from there, we will send it back up to the top.
So now that you've seen Austin's experience on this bike, let me tell you a little bit about mine. As you guys know, I do not ride very hard. I get out just for fun. I don't need to prove anything to anybody, so I'm doing a lot of flowy single track. Sometimes I'll hit an occasional jump. I love climbing, and this bike really excels at all of those things. I was surprised how great it was into corners, which is always something I have an issue with on a 4-point suspension system, but this suspension on this bike felt really tight to me. For my style of riding, I never felt like I needed more. If you're riding more like Austin, you are getting this bike for under $6K, so keep in mind that you can upgrade components as you see fit, but this bike was good for about 90% of the stuff that he normally does. But if you're more like me, this bike is going to do more than enough. The Bosch Smart System continues to impress me. I find more and more things I like about it every day. Recently, it is the fact that they have been doing a lot of updates and integrations with other apps. I think it was extremely smart to put the Bosch Smart System on this bike as opposed to an older Bosch e-bike system. Some of you might have questions about that Suntour suspension, and I have to say, again, for what I was doing, it worked great. Suntour used to not have a great reputation, but you are seeing people race on Suntour suspension these days, and I think we will see them catch up to the other suspension manufacturers in the not too distant future. So if you can disabuse yourself of the notion that Suntour is lower end, I think it's suspension that a lot of people will really enjoy because, again, it's really not lower end anymore. One thing you'll probably notice is that there is not a dropper seat post on this bike, and I always like to see dropper seat posts on electric mountain bikes, but this is always something you would be able to add retroactively, and Bulls did think ahead for riders who are descending and ascending frequently by having a quick release seat collar instead of a seat collar with a hex wrench. So it is pretty easy to hop off your bike and lower that saddle for those more intense descents. Overall, for the money, I think this is a great buy. And don't forget, you can always see most up-to-date pricing at flyridesusa.com. Clicking this link above will take you right to the Bulls Copperhead EVO AM1. And make sure to subscribe to the Flyrides electric bike channel so you don't miss any e-mountain bike reviews, e-bike news, or the like. My question of the week that I want to hear more about in the comments below is whether or not you have ridden newer Suntour suspension and what your experience was on it. But until next time, enjoy the ride.